Hello there, YouTube. So remember how in the last video I said I was probably going to do a game analysis video? Well, I'm doing that today. You're probably wondering what game. Well, I mean, you know, the one and only Henry Stickmin collection. But before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe, seeing as these videos take a long time to make. Alright, time for some background information. The Henry Stickmin Collection is a choose-your-path game released on August 7th, 2020 by Innersloth. Keep in mind I'm talking about the collection, not each game separately. Those are way older. I'll be judging the game by, three categories: the looks, the story, and the characters. First, I'll be going over looks and visuals. As for visuals, the game literally has the word Stickmin in it. What did you expect? It's pretty simple, but it looks very nice. All the animations are smooth, even though it's really low frame. I mean, you can do stuff at low frame. It looks very good for how simple it is. Some of the animations look kind of weird, but they're pretty nice. So, without further ado, let's move on to the next category, story. The story of the game depends on the chapter. The first chapter is Breaking the Bank, in which Henry Stickmin, the main character, tries to rob a bank but fails miserably. The second chapter is Escaping the Prison, in which, well, honestly, some of these titles are just really self-explanatory. The choices, however, start to really, the choices become much more important starting in Chapter 4, Infiltrating the Airship, in which, separate endings. Those are a surprise tool that will help you later. It adds in, many characters. You'll start with, seeing barely any at the start in, Chapter 1, but near the end there are a lot of characters. As for the final chapter, completing the mission, is when the endings from infiltrating the airship and flying the complex can be mixed together, so many endings can be made. You're probably wondering, how do you get those endings? Well, the main gimmick of the game itself is that you have to make choices. Many choices. 9 out of 10, the choices are the only way to progress the story. But a lot of the choices fail miserably, and that's funny. Some of them are references to other games, and some of them are just kind of weird. But I think the one we all know is the distraction dance. The only issue, I'd say, is that some of the choices in the chapters can be very cringy and awkward. Finally, on to the final category, characters. At first, there are very few characters in the game that are memorable. But eventually, in Chapter 4, we meet Charles. Charles plays a very important role in the story as part of completing the mission. You need to, one of the decisions is, are you going to be with Charlie or not, with the government or not? He is a very interesting character, and if you ever see him as a choice when you're playing, you should always pick it, because, as he says, it's the greatest plan.
I got the perfect plan. This is the greatest plan.
However, there is another character in the story that you will most likely remember, and that would be Ellie. Ellie makes her first debut in Chapter 5 as a criminal and fleeing the complex. You can choose to help her or not. They also play a role in completing the mission, like Charles. There are much other characters in the story that you can see their bio by right-clicking on them during the story. In these clips used, you'll probably see that happen. In summary, this game is a choose-your-own-story kind of game with a very simple art style. Its only issue is replayability. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. See you guys next time.